Hello and welcome back to the channel. Now you'll probably tell by the thumbnail, what this video is pretty much about. I've just got the USACC out the way. I've been really busy up until then, working on the car. Weekends have been filled, so I haven't had much time to catch up on YouTube or anything. In fact, I've not watched telly at all or YouTube really for the last 3 weeks, to be quite fair, leading up to the USACC. So got that finished, got that video uploaded for the final for the Camaro. Put it up on Sunday. Started watching a few of the USACC build videos, and then I just came across a video. Another chap with a headline or a title, remembering Martin Dare. And I thought, I hadn't heard from Martin, or I watch his channel every week. That was one thing about Martin. He put a video out pretty much every week without fail. But I hadn't seen anything. But then I thought, he's been. I know his latest project was to he was working on all his sheds outside to make a bit of a dream sort of situation for himself for the hobby, But going going back. This is going back. I've first got a smart TV. A smart TV. It was probably the Christmas before COVID and lockdown all hitting. So it's the first time I started really watching, channels properly on YouTube. I've not really bothered with YouTube much before that, and one of the first channels I came across was Martin Dare's Dinky Restorations, and straight off, I got hooked on his channel. I always think it's just like my dad used to. My dad used to restore old dinky toys when I was growing up. I used to sit and watch him when I was 3 or 4 years old, painting dinky toys along with building model kits and stuff like that. So he always reminded me of my dad with got a southern accent like my dad. And like I say, fast forward, I'd watch Martin Dare religiously every week, and Bob Willis as well. And I learned a lot of Martin Dare, to be quite fair. In fact, when I first set up my YouTube channel, if you watch that first video of mine, I kind of based my channel really what Martin was doing with his restorations, thinking I could transfer that into that same style into YouTube, into building model cars instead of the dinky restorations. It just works out. It's far too much work, to fit everything into a video. I mean, I know my videos are long anyway, but it was too much sort of pressure to try and do so much to a model car and try and get a video out. It was just going to be a once a month video. I mean, it's probably more than I'm doing now at the minute, but it's highly based on what Martin was doing. I've learned so much, so many transferable skills, from what I've learned from Martin with restorations like polishing glass or, warming up tyres to make them fit the tyre wheels and stuff like that. There's so much, and then I joined YouTube, and Martin. There's quite a few people that I followed on YouTube at that point. Obviously, everybody watches Matt on the Luke C channel. Sean. Everybody knows Sean over it. And I think Sean commented on my first video. I think Gary Knight put him over. I've been friends with Gary for many years. Same with Lee over at Pro Customs. We've always talked to each other online and stuff. I think met Lee a couple of years ago, like now, and you know, yeah, and but yeah, Martin commented on it, you know, Sean commented on it, and I know a lot of people, even though this is a model car community, a lot of people know Martin Dare. You know, he was a big model builder as well as a die-cast restorer. So a lot of people in this side of the community know Martin. So yeah, I mean, and then I became friends with Martin. You know, I've sent him quite a few donations and stuff. I was building up another little box for him. And about a week before last weekend, when I found out, you know, I haven't been buying much stuff at all. You know, in fact, since October, end of October, I've started selling quite a lot of my stuff off, and I think, you know, from back end of October to now, I've sold over 400 kits, like, just to clear out, and now I'm going to start another cull as well, like sort of questions your own mortality and stuff. So, but yeah, I've not been buying stuff at all. You know, I've been buying the odd bit here and there. Bought a couple of bits this weekend, which I shouldn't have done, to be quite fair. But the week before, I did buy this big box, and this is not the kind of usual stuff I buy. It was just like old toys, so to speak, and I bought it. I was looking at this lot, and I had Martin Dare in mind for a few of the bits, you know, because a lot of that stuff I'm not going to use, but there's a couple of bits which kind of resonated with Martin and what have you. And then that box came, and I think I found out on last Sunday, and then that box turned up on Monday because I bought it the week before, like, and I've just not done anything with it. Not really wanted to go into it, to be quite fair. So I thought, you know, we'll turn it around. I'm gonna do an unboxing a bit like Martin would do, you know. You know, just a box stuff down there. We'll go through it. There's a few bits and pieces in there which I was, you know, planning on doing something with it. I'll probably stick them aside, like, and then, yeah, I think now I'll pile the rest of what, you know, I'm not going to use together and just move them on, like, so yeah, I mean, like I say, everybody really thought highly of Martin. You know, I'm really lucky that, you know, I got speaking to him. It was just like, you know, you watch YouTube for so many years before you join, and then you get to know these people, but you don't know them, and then, you know, there's good people in the community. I've made a lot of friends through this community, such as Martin, and it's a great loss to not only die-cast community, but to our communities. I think what we're going to do is we're just going to turn the camera around, and we're going to go through this stuff. Like I say, there's some nice bits in there, some nice interesting stuff in there, and yeah, we'll just close the video off. But yeah, I just thought I'd put a video out. I just, you know, since doing YouTube, I've seen people passing, and but I didn't know him, like, so it wasn't I never felt it was my place to do anything like that, you know. It's every time you hear somebody passing in the community, you know, it's you know, it's a great loss. But when it's kind of one of your friends, it gets you a little bit. So yeah, well, like I say, some interesting stuff in there. There's a lot of junk. I think it's a lot of broken stuff, to be quite fair. You know, I didn't pay a lot of money for it. But yeah, let's just turn camera around, look at it, and, you know, like I say, and we'll go from there. Right, I'll see you in a bit. Right then, well, we'll just get straight into it. I think this is as far as I got with opening box before. Like, you know, it's you know, I pretty much just cut the box open and then just closed it back up again. So I can't really remember what's in here, to be quite fair. I haven't looked back at the auction pictures, but I think from what I was bidding on, it was just a lot of 60s toys, a lot of stuff made in Hong Kong, like say a lot of broken stuff, a lot of incomplete stuff, so I'm not expecting too much. You know, if you know anything about them, please feel free to comment, because I won't know anything about these. Like I'll just pull them out one by one, and you know, we'll spend a bit of time looking at them and then move on to what else is in there. Like I say, I can't remember how much is in there, so it's a pretty big box. I'll get this out of the way, like, first of all, because you know, we're not going to achieve much with this bloody great box on the side. Like, so probably going to be, like I say, a bit of rustling and stuff like that to deal with. Don't really know how well this stuff's packed, but like I say, it's all broken pretty much. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. But yeah, we'll just go through it. Like I say, difficult to tell what scales these were in the pictures, because I don't know anything about them, so I didn't know which was big and which was kind of small, if you know what I mean. But we'll try and determine that as we go through them. I'll move this camera a bit further down now so we can look into them a little bit better. Yep, so first up, this what looks to be a Commer van, Securicar Armoured Division. Really cool looking thing this. First time I've ever seen one of these. Like, missing a wheel, missing rear doors. There is a small box of spares in there, but from what I remembered, it was very sparse and I couldn't really see, you know, too much to complete any of these. But this is made in Hong Kong. Oh, it's a Lucky Toys, this one. I've had a couple of Lucky Toys before. Never seen this one before. Like, scale wise, I reckon it's, you know, probably 1/20th scale maybe. It's certainly bigger than 1/24th. I wouldn't really put it as big as 1/18th. So yeah, probably about 1/20th scale. And I'm saying about because I don't know how fussy they were about scaling things at the time, like on toys like this. But yeah, nice little thing. There is some form of glass panel in the back of there. I don't know if that's the... There's something loose in there. I don't know if that's... Oh, that looks actually to be the window unit. Just try and do a bit of fixing as you go, like. But yeah, that looks sad. I didn't even think this thing had glass, but yeah. So I thought it was like a glass security barrier or something like that, but that looks to be the window unit, so that's one less thing you'd have to make. But like everything in there, I think everything's pretty much plastic. There's no tin plate, or I don't think there's any die casts, to my knowledge anyway. So yeah, they could all be sort of built up using kit parts of similar scales and what have you. I mean, these wheels look very similar to like 1/25th scale wheels, so you probably get away with using that on these, but it's definitely bigger than 1/24th, 1/25th. But yeah, nice little thing. Yeah, never seen one of them before. Don't know if that's a project for me or not. See what else we got in here, and there is random stuff in here. There's I'm just going to try and pick out what I can as I'm going through it. No, this thing here, that this is like a 1/32nd scale caravan, and I've missed the last couple of small scale group builds which Sean usually holds. I think Sean's been just as busy as me lately, or got other things more important to deal with in life. But yeah, I've missed the last couple of them, unfortunately. But I do enjoy my small scale. I've saved a couple, but when I do have time to rejoin one of them or just build them, like. But yeah, yeah, I'm pretty pleased with this scale, because that looks like it'll fit nicely behind one of the 1/32nd Airfix kits. Roof's broken, but it's complete. I'd rather repair something like that than having to redo something myself. So yeah, nice and basic interior, probably be able to detail that up a little bit. Glass is all there, doesn't look like the glass is actually broken, but regardless, I don't think it would have been difficult to replace that. I mean, I think if I was doing it, I'd probably either cut these windows down to get it up. I don't know if that's factory glue or if somebody's done that after the fact, but yeah, that's definitely one I remember seeing and you know, thinking at whatever scale it came out at, I was kind of hoping for 1/24 scale, but yeah, that'd suit a 1/32 scale build quite nicely with that. So I'm going to keep that one aside, like, you know, hopefully get round to doing that one day. And if you put something like that on eBay, you're going to get nothing for it, and so it's, you know, it's something I'd like to do one day if I can. Like I say, we're just going to be picking out random stuff here. There is a lot of random stuff, like this boat being one of them. Looks very similar to like 1/24 scale, 1/25 scale kit. And boats aren't very common in 1/24 and 1/25. I think AMC had done a couple. Lindbergh reintroduced them. I can't remember who originally did them. They released a couple of 1/25 scale boats. I can't remember who the original manufacturer was on those, and Revell have done a couple of boats, but to go in them sets like a fishing boat and what have you. But the drag boat, that drag boat looks massive, like. So, but yeah, not much to this, and we won't spend too much time on it. Probably detail that up into a nice little rig to go behind a model car, like. But yeah, not much to that, and like I say, we won't be spending too much. Looks like it's missing battery cover. Don't think there was ever much else in there by the looks of it. Yeah, a bit broken, but yeah, I don't know what to do with stuff like that, like, to be fair. Another smaller scale, this looks probably about 1/30. I wouldn't say it was 1/32, looks maybe a bit too big for 1/32, but yeah, maybe 1/30 scale Rolls Royce, Silver Cloud, maybe Silver Cloud 2, something like that. Again, missing grille, missing headlight. I think there is a full interior in there, not that you can see it through that, but yeah, you got pretty much full interior. Dash is just floating about in there. This one, made in Hong Kong. Not too sure what that logo is for. Didn't think we had a look at this one. This one was a Roxy Toys caravan. Another one made in Hong Kong, like. So I couldn't remember seeing any maker's marks on that, but yeah, not too sure what the circle is like. So anybody knows, please comment. It's not too bad condition, bit of a break in the hood and what have you, missing bumpers and what have you, but probably not something I'd want to tackle, to be quite fair. So we'll just put that aside. Now this is one of the ones which caught my eye, and by the looks of it, it's about 1/24 scale. It looks pretty good to 1/24 scale. 4 Corsair. Really like these British cars. They didn't go with a very conventional styling, which I liked. Quite unique styling on the front end. Not a bad proportioned model, to be quite fair. Missing a tail light, but I don't think that'll be too hard to recreate. Like, all the main bits are there. I mean, doors missing on the other side. It's got a broken pillar. It's like one of them wheels that would just fallen out of the interior. So not that properly. Well, the reason this caught my eye is, and this is one thing that I did put aside to sort of show what I'd hoped to do with that thing one day. This is that diorama I did the tribute for Terry Ross. You know, the hobby wouldn't be what it is without, in the UK, without Terry Ross doing the Small Talk article in Street Machine. Got a lot of people into the hobby in the 80s. We'll talk. I built this diorama for the Galaxy. Don't mind diorama sitting on the shelf getting dusty, but the Galaxy I want to keep dust free. So that just sits in a display box next to it. This model here, this is a model built by a chap called Kevin Green. I've got a couple of his. I've been meaning to do a video on these. Built in the 80s. I either remember seeing this in an old Street Machine magazine in the Small Talk pages, or I've got a picture of it somewhere. But we'll do a video on that separate. But yeah, when I built this, I didn't want to completely recreate. I wanted to make it as a tribute to it, and you know, finding all the exact pictures Terry used in the original diorama wasn't going to happen. But I did find this, and because it kind of looks in the same style as the Galaxy we did, thought it was quite a fitting picture. Plus, it had the Street Machine logo on there. But yeah, this is a old Ford Corsair which was done in the 80s. Radius rear arches, chopped front, chopped roof. And when I saw that Corsair in that picture, even if it was 1/32, that was what I had in mind for it. But yeah, going back to the model, like I say, it doesn't really matter that the pillars are broken. The sill or rocker cover, whatever you call them over there, we call them sills over here. Looks a bit bent, but I think as soon as there's a bit of strength in that roof, be able to do something with it. I think that car I just showed you the picture of was made into a 2-door, so I'd be doing the same with this as well. Like I say, these doors are pretty much just slab panels. Wouldn't be too hard to recreate, and I'd probably add something to that anyway, just to put a bit of shape into it. But yeah, really chuffed with that. And like I say, it is like a 1/24 scale, is that, or 1/25 scale. Wouldn't put it really in any other scale, to be quite fair. So a lot of kit parts will help that. We'll radius the rear arches. So we'll do that, you know, if I get round to it in my lifetime. But yeah, I'll certainly be keeping that one. That's yeah, that's one of the reasons I bought this lot, to be quite fair. I'm not displeased either. Like, you know, it's a little bit quirky looking, but looking at, thought the front end was a bit narrow, but looking at the actual car, you know, that picture of the actual car, you know, it's not that far off. We'll certainly be able to do something with that. So yeah, really pleased with that. I'll have to put that wheel in there. Not that it matters, because we certainly wouldn't be using them. Oh yeah, didn't see what. It just says Corsair, made in Hong Kong. Friction drive toy, but yeah, not much to that. Like, no maker's name or anything like that. Got that box of bits somewhere. Roof or something. Couple of plastic toys. These look like the kind of things you would just kind of buy in a chemist in the 60s. Like, probably came in a big pack of probably, I don't know, 2, 10, I don't know. We used to call things like this when I was a kid, bath toys. We had a lot of rubber cars. I think they were made by a company called Tonti. Not these, but the ones I'm talking about. They were like rip-offs of Dinky toys. I remember Dinky and Corgi toys. There was 60 El Camino, like Mercedes SL, that kind of thing. We just used to play with them in bath, like, because they were all just rubber, like. But yeah, not much to say about them. Just a couple of soft plastic toys. Now we've got a cat with us. Come on, we have to get rid of this cat, I'm afraid. You know, make him sit down or do something. I thought, like I say, I thought I got away with having them on. They were asleep, but I think in the first bit they probably heard my voice, kind of stirred them up. Ringo, just sit down or do something. Or bugger off, which would be ideal. Ringo, come on. You're just going to make this bloody video longer than it needs to be, and I'm not retaking now. Little army toy. Probably about 1/43 scale, this thing. Made in... I think that one's actually made in... Oh, that's made in Hong Kong, that thing. I thought it was made in England, this bit. Yeah, just an army truck. Very nondescript. In not bad condition, like. I think these have never been really harshly played with, because some of them are very dusty, but they're not scratched up or at all, like. But yeah, this is missing wheels. I don't know what you do with that kind of thing, like. Looks very American sort of styling on that. But yeah, I don't think we'll spend too much time with that. I think, yeah, had a bit of a glue repair around there, so to speak, but yeah, not a great deal. Ringo, just bugger off. There you go. You can stay that side. That's it. That's him. That is fun. Right, straighten that camera up. Forgot about this one being in there. This is another. Oh, this is just found something else to annoy me with, scratching the cardboard, which I've taken off top of this. Yeah, another what looks to be 1/20th scale Thames van, Ford 400e. Reminds me again, Italian job. I got a 3D printed Sports 1/32 scale one of these. I think the Italian job was a barn door, window van, where this one looks to have started life as a caravan. Again, some nice stuff you could detail in there. And this was probably friction drive again. I think friction drive's pretty much done on this thing, but this is a Tat Toys. Again, I've had a couple of Tat Toys before. Another one made in Hong Kong. Really nice proportions on that. You know, it's a really nice toy. So it looks like we're missing the original. I'm assuming it was a potentially a lift up caravan sort of top. Missing rear doors. Just got that box parts here. We kind of just skipped past that, didn't we? But not too sure if any of them belong to. Oh, fuck's sake. Yeah, we got a cat back. Yeah, not sure whether might have belonged to the comma van at some point. So at least there's something to kind of work off, you know. But yeah, very similar scale to the, well, it looks like a matching scale to the comma van. Does that? Yeah, except from, and like I say, building doors and stuff. There's a couple of little broken spots. Again, a lot of glue holding this together. Not saying that, I mean, it looks like the model's holding the glue together at this point, like, but yeah, nice thing is that. Like I say, I forgot that was in there, and I remembered the comma van, the security van, but yeah, pleased with that one. Don't know if it's a project I would do, to be quite fair. Like I say, I haven't made up my mind. There's stuff like the Corsair, but I know I'll end up keeping. A lot of this stuff was just meant for somewhere else, like, and I was just getting sold for the bits that I wouldn't have been interested in. Got this old, I don't know if this is a Bedford, maybe. Looks definitely something you would have played with in a sandpit or something, an outside type toy. Don't look like it's actually being played with outside tyres. Absolutely immaculate. I think it's just suffered a bit of a break on the front. I don't know if it's a Commer, Bedford van, Bedford wagon. I remember my dad. He had I think before I was born, he used to work for a dairy company, driving dairy tankers. And he had a picture of one of his tankers parked next to another one. Very, very similar style to that. Front roof's broken on it. I don't know if this is a sort of toy anybody would restore, to be quite fair, or if these kind of things have any kind of following like or not. Like I say, it's dirty, but it's and that roof's broken. I'll just see if there's something here somewhere. Thought when I was rummaging through, that's the what I saw that before. You got the front section to the roofs, makes you repair a little bit better. Probably put this at about 1/32 scale. I don't think that'll be far off. Like I say, depending on how far you want to go with stuff, if you wanted to detail it, or there's enough there to work with. I think that roof's a bit flat. You could do with a bit of shaping on the roof if you were going to try and make like a detail truck out of it. But yeah, it has potential to the right person. I don't know who that right person would be like. I'll just throw that in there. Like I say, I'm not going to spend too much time on these things. Like I've just seen something which I'm going to leave that one till end. Yeah, that's one at Jaguars which are in there. I'll leave that one till end. Like I don't think there's any maker's mark on that little little truck. This is a Mercedes. Is it a 230 SL? Really pretty car. That again, not too sure what scale that would be. That would just don't look big enough for 1/18. It looks quite big next to a one. I don't know. Not too sure really, to be quite fair, but pretty little car that. Shame it's missing. I've got the broken windshield. Remember seeing this one in pictures, not thinking anything of it, but I mean, like I say, you put something like this on, you get maybe a couple of quid for it or something. Where now I've started looking at this thing, it's got some. I mean, it's a very pretty car as it is, like, but I do like the shape of these rear quarter panels, these little fins on it. Both tail lights are in there. It's got both quarter bumpers, got the majority of the front bumper. I don't think, looking at it, I don't think I would keep it to restore it or try and get it back to original. This is probably something which would look good with a nice looking roof on there, and just build it as, again, like a kind of a concept style custom or something like that. And the fact that it's not 1/24 or 1/25, don't bother me nowadays. I used to be a 1/25 scale snob, really. I wouldn't even touch 1/24 scale, even though I started off on monogram kits in my later years and collecting and stuff like that. I'd just stick to 1/25 scale. But I think that was the one thing about the USACC. It kind of got me right over that. I think the first couple I did were sort of monogram Revel toolings, or originally monogram tooling 1/24 scale. So they were the first 1/24 kits I'd built in many years. And they just sit in their own display boxes. I ain't got many display boxes, maybe 5 or 6, which I have to limit to what I've got on the shelf. But yeah, I mean, so they'd just all be on their own anyway. It's not like I've got a big display case and they'll look odd next to each other. So yeah, I'd happily spend a bit of time on that, like build a nice custom out of it. So yeah, for what he'll probably get me back, you know, probably just keep that thing for sake of a couple of quid. Like, won't be worth my time, and bit of potential in it. You got junk like this. I mean, I'm calling it junk. I don't know anything about it. Is there a maker's mark on that? Did we look at that? No. Well, whether he looks at it or not, you know, another friction drive. Friction drive seems to work on that one, but no maker's mark. Little I don't know if that was supposed to be a hovercraft or something. Made in Hong Kong. We won't waste any time on that really. Just a kind of nondescript usual time. It just kind of shows what. I mean, what I'm going to be showing here is just a small drop in the ocean. To what was probably available to kids, keep them occupied back in the 60s and 70s, like before the world changed a bit, like. And oh, this is another one I remember in pictures of Vauxhall Viva. Again, probably about 1/20th scale again. Quite a well proportioned car that. I know the Vauxhall Vivas had small wheel arches, but I think they're just a little bit too small. Maybe if anything, it just looks a bit stumpy. I think a small slice out of that centre would kind of make it look a little bit better. I think that's the only thing with this. It just looks a little bit wide on the top. Got a couple of broken bits here, missing a wheel or so. I think there's some wheels in that box. We'll go through them later. Like, I mean, that doesn't look far off, does it? To be quite fair. Yeah, it's got a broken back, so we aren't going to be messing around with that. That's another wheel to somewhere else, probably a little bit bigger. Maybe off that Commer van. But yeah, nice little thing this again. Probably won't try and put it back to stock. It'd be best off with radius than wheel arches, because it's quite a small car, even though it's a bigger scale. You'd probably get away with using like 1/24 scale wheels on it. Again, I'm not sure that's a project I'll take on myself. Yeah, nice little thing that. And like I say, this is the first time I've seen a lot of this stuff, like this type of models, because they're all vintage British cars and they're doing plastic. That's kind of what interested me on that. And got again about 1/20th scale Mini Cooper. Don't know if that's maybe a little bit bigger. Might be closer to 1/18th scale, that thing. Not too sure. Try and keep that up there. Yeah, I think there's plenty of Mini Coopers and stuff like that. Austin Minis in kit form to have to worry about doing anything with that. Missing, looks like that bumper's being glued on at one point upside down. Missing front bumper. I'm pretty sure there was a grill in this box. Assuming that, yeah. So we got the grill, and don't know if that front bumper's from this one as well. Essentially. It fits close enough, doesn't it? So I'll just keep them off there. But yeah, again, not too sure who to make. Now this is another Tat Toys. Is this one? Like I say, I'm sure there's a couple of wheels in there. If I can, once I start sorting through that level, there's not much in there at all. Like, I think that's a roof. I think that was from. I think that would have originally been from Mercedes, I would have thought. But I'll probably put some. Saying that, that roof looks pretty decent, to be quite fair, even though it's broken. Yeah, I don't know what I'd do with that. I am wanting to go to Switzerland, drive to Switzerland this year. Go through all the Swiss Alps, St Bernard's Pass, all that kind of thing in the car. Just finally got some proper Alpina suspension fitted to it, so the bigger wheels fit the car properly now without just sort of rubbing lower, like the lower spring base. It wasn't rubbing, but you know, it didn't give me much confidence driving it that far. Like, so that's all sorted now. Finally, just got the car back to, I think, last weekend, or in middle of the week. I can't remember when I picked that car up. But yeah, I might take this with me and just throw it off the Swiss Alps, let it roll down. Can't really think of much else to do with that. Like, but yeah, I was going to try and go there. I've got a couple of days off. I was going to try and see if we could get there at the moment, but with fuel prices going through the roof, I didn't fancy the fuel bill on that, so we're going to just sort of save that for maybe the summer. Yeah, I think we're getting to the bottom of it. So a couple of nice horse boxes if you're into that kind of thing. I think they look pretty much 1/24 scale to these. Not too sure who makes out on that. Got a plastic one and they're both plastic. Oh, that's got a metal base on as that one, but yeah, they fit quite nicely behind 1/24 scale. So I'm assuming that's what scale they are like. But if that was a part of a set, I can't see any tow bar of any kind on that, so assuming not. This one, like I say, it feels a lot lighter. It's got that circle logo on again, so again, not too sure what that maker's mark is. Got the rear gate on it. So that one's pretty much complete, is that like? Yeah, it's quite a nice little thing that. I don't know if there's much following for scale agriculture sort of thing. Is this a Britain's toy, this one? Yeah, this is Britain's Limited, made in England. This one's got a metal base, so it feels a lot more sturdier. It's got a plastic top on. I think Britons have quite a big following, to be quite fair. Again, quite a nice thing, and not the sort of thing I'd usually look for. If you did make an interesting sort of different model on it, something with a horse box behind. I always think horse box is a very British thing, but of course, yeah, you have horses everywhere else in the world, like, don't you? But yeah, missing what I'd assume is a door on that. It wouldn't be too hard to recreate. Bit of a convex curve on that. Probably have to build it in a couple of different pieces. Saying that, I don't know how much these things go for, so rather than spending a couple of hours, you're probably better off spending a couple of quid if that's what they're, you know, if they're going for that. Like, but yeah, nice little things, those horse boxes. Like I say, I had to make a bit of an interesting model with that, like, to you know, to pair up with something else. And then we're just going to skip through a lot of this stuff, and there's something in another box down there wrapped up, so I'm just going to go for that next. And yeah, it looks like an Austin Healey, and again, just another little cheap toy. I can't see, what's that one? Don't know what that logo is in there. Another one made in Hong Kong. Yeah, it kind of looks like an MG, so to speak. So, yeah, Austin Healey, sorry. So yeah, not a bad little thing. Like, may end up cutting this video and restarting. I've just noticed battery's getting low, so I might have to, you know, quickly grab the charger and plug that in. Like I say, I don't think we want too much else stuff here. I think there's one model kit, yeah, one random model kit and a few other bits and pieces. But yeah, I'm assuming, like I say, there would have been millions of these things back in day, like. But yeah, again, just a broken old toy. I don't know if anybody would have any use to that. Yeah, small scale, from about 1/32 scale, but a bit quirky looking. Make a nice little gasser or something like that. A little drag car, because it kind of has that funny car look. So yeah, you probably do something with that, actually, looking at it. If you just had that kind of idea in mind, you know. Obviously you're not going to make it stock looking like that, but what is that thing? Oh, bloody hell. Oh, this is a lot bigger than I thought it would be. So this lot, there was the same chap was selling a couple of other bits, and I thought, well, once I won this lot, because the other toys were absolutely going for nothing. I thought I'd have a go on this, and I thought this was 1/24 scale. It's about £7 I think this thing was, but yeah, this is another one which made me think of Martin, like. Yeah, I think he would have loved something like this. This is like 1/16 scale. I thought it was one. So I had bought one, I'd say in last year or something, which was 1/24 scale. Very similar looking, and when I saw pictures of this, and they obviously didn't have any scale, I just thought it was another one of them. Pretty sure there's a box in there somewhere. Yeah, that's the top of the box. Give us a bit of a better idea who made it. It's a BBRB. Really nice box art to be. I mean, there's nothing left of that box. It's literally the top of the box. Jaguar high power friction police car, Jaguar XJ12. That front end don't look very XJ. I mean, I'm not massive up on Jaguars, like. That front end looks definitely more S-classy, and unless it was like earlier XJs, I think the earlier XJs had front ends like that. It was very S-classy to me, though. Yeah, really nice box art on that. You know, if you did something with that, then you'd have something to display next to it. Just fold it down, and but yeah, box art, and that's really nice, to be quite fair. But yeah, that thing's huge. Is that's I'd put that bigger than, that's definitely bigger than 1/18 scale. I'd probably put that around about 1/16 scale, that thing. It's got a bit of damage on this side. Broken pillar, but broken side pillars. The main thing, the front pillar's still there. Wouldn't be too difficult to recreate them side pillars, like. Yeah, I'd certainly make into an interesting large scale model with that, like. Yeah, I just can't remember XJs looking like that as in the early one. It must be, like I say, the back end looks definitely like it, but like I say, surely it's modelled off a proper XJ, so it does look very S-typey to me, so it must be an early XJ. But yeah, I thought it'd be the 1/24 one, similar to the other one I had. I think I gave that one to my friend Mike. In the end, you know, I didn't keep that one. I just gave it away. Like, I think that one had an opening hood, whereas this is pretty much. I'm assuming it would have had. It might have had. Saying that, there's no sort of. Can't see anywhere where you'd put batteries in it or anything like that. So I don't think it would have had any light up sirens or anything like that. Obviously missing the police roofs, but yeah, absolutely huge, that thing. Wasn't expecting that at all. But yeah, I mean, this video is going to we ain't got much more to go through, to be honest. I think once it goes to 5% on my phone, I'll quickly shut it off for a second, and this kind of stuff we'll just kind of plonk it on the table and work through it as one. Rather than spending too much time on it, I think this is just like nondescript toys which are in there. This tiny little thing, all plastic. Don't know if this would have been like a miniature model kit, or looks very sort of early Lesney Matchbox sort of size. Yeah, missing a lot. Well, missing the wheels, I'm assuming, but not much else to it. But nice little thing that. Again, we won't spend this like stuff like this. Yeah, that's a Lucky Toys. Is that one? Yeah, that's Lucky Toys. Is that? There's something with Telsada on as well. I've been looking into so that last thing we're going to look at. There's one thing I looked into before I was waiting for the box to come, just trying to find out a scale on it, but I couldn't find anything on the scale on it. From what it looks like, it's kind of what I was hoping to, like the best case scenario. Some kind of racing car, friction drive. Again, I don't know if this was like a toy stroke model kit. Don't know what racing car it's supposed to depict. Ferrari, Lotus, they all kind of look the same to me in that kind of era. Like very weird looking thing. Kind of a bit Art Deco, is that like? Driver's lost his head. The one made in Hong Kong. Yeah, not too sure on that thing. Don't think we'll go too far. Very quirky looking. Sidecar. You don't see too many model sidecars, do you? But the one made in Hong Kong. I think that's the same maker's mark as that, by the looks of it. Yeah, so if anybody knows, please feel free to inform me. I won't be doing anything with them. Pretty much both passenger co-pilot, whatever, I don't know what you call a sidecar, sort of second man, but they both lost their heads either way. Everything else looks complete. Like, I don't know if that's something you're making, sort of some space concept vehicle or something like that. Has a bit of potential for that. Not something I'm going to mess with, I don't think. Motorbike, probably about 1/12 scale or something like that. Friction drive. I was just wondering what them wheels were doing on the side. I'm sure I saw like an exhaust. I don't know if that's the other side exhaust for that thing. It looks the same, yeah. That's the other side exhaust. Can't see a front wheel in that box of bits anywhere. Let's quickly clear out that box of bits as well. This is the last real thing in there, which looks maybe like that's the battery cover for that little speedboat we looked at earlier. Like I say, that's front bumper, a couple of wheels in there, not much in there. It's like this would have been a wind-up toy. Missing roof completely. Early Morris Minor. I don't know if the early ones were called Minors back then, or just Morris's, or I don't know, but yeah, it's probably about 1/43 scale or something. I think that's a bit too far gone for anybody to sort of waste the time restoring, so to speak. But and yeah, that brings nearly the last one. This was the other model, the model kit which was in there. I think this is really rough. Like, it was my favourite box art of the later rendition of the 55 Chevy after they sort of changed that 60s tooling. But yeah, I think this is a really rough beat. I didn't pay much for this at all, and by the looks of it, I'm pretty glad, because I don't think it's too bad underneath that. I don't know if that's masking tape. I think that's just masking tape on there. And they've just sprayed it with the glass in and then kept the masking tape on there, but it doesn't look too much of a glue bomb, to be quite honest with you. You know, it looks worse than it actually is, to be quite fair. I'm just going to shove that. We ain't going to get into too much of that right now. I've got a load of. The one thing I'm hoping to do is try and get through all the 55 Chevy parts, the early 60s stuff, and get them sorted this week if I can. Like I say, I'm just going to do a big cull. I don't know what's going to. I'm just wanting to keep a few things which I think I might do in my later years. Things like that Corsair, you know, would kind of suits me. This was the last one, and the one which caught me interest the most. I think, yeah, this has got that circle on again. I think they did this under Telsada branding and Max Toys potentially. Those are the ones which I could find online. But this is like 1/24 scale. This is like, again, best case scenario for me. But this is probably my favourite British saloon car of the 60s, Mark 10 Jaguar or 420. You know, whichever one you want to call it. I think this has opening trunk. I really don't want to force them. I think the hood opens as well. That looks just as stuck as the trunk, really. Again, there's it's had a bit of a glue repair there. So yeah, I'm not going to force that. But yeah, big old cars with the Jaguar Mark 10s, and I think this is. Yeah, I was hoping to get a bit more warning before that camera shut off, but yeah, just went. So I'll try and wrap this video up. I know it's been a long one. I wasn't expecting there to be quite as much in that box and talk about so much of it in there. But yeah, I feel like I say, I think this was another one with that round circle on. Pretty sure it was branded under Telsada and Mac Toys, maybe Lucky Toys. Where did I see Telsada on? Which one was it on? I don't know, is it that Viva? Yeah, that Vauxhall Viva's got Telsada on it and Lucky Toys up there. And like I say, I think this one was under Mac as well. So I'm assuming they just sort of branded them for different countries, maybe. I'm not too sure, to be quite honest. Real detail behind that, but yeah, like I say, really nice proportion model is that one. Like I say, it does look like it's 1/24 scale, like yeah, again, we'll just pop that box behind it. So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty nice 1/24 scale, I would say, like, and certainly be able to sort of build it with 1/24th, 1/25th scale parts on that. But yeah, I think what I'm gonna do with this one now is I'm gonna take this one on and I'm gonna build it. It'll be the next one I build on the channel, and I'd like to do it as like a tribute to Martin. I don't know if there's any tribute builds going on at the moment or anything, but I'll just do this one in my own time. The house sale is at the final stages. I think it's with solicitors. I don't know whether I'll be here or whether I'll take up a tenancy under the new landlord. I just don't know what the situation is, but I think what I want to do is I want to start thinning out the collection to a point where I'm not really taking much. Yeah, but I would like to do that with this one. Like I say, it'll be the next one I tackle. I don't know what I'll do with it. Might do like a lead sled. There was a nice custom one built in. I think it was built in the UK. I'm assuming it is. But that one had a chopped roof. The only thing with that is they deleted. I kind of like the quad headlamps on these, where I think on that one they made like more of a sort of Mercury style front grille and and hood on that one. Like I say, they chopped it, and I think back end was pretty much maybe left alone a little bit more, maybe sloped them tail lights down a little bit more. But so yeah, I think that's going to be the next one. I did have another project in mind next, something that Gary Knight kindly gave me. He said he wants me to build it on the channel, which I will do. This one might just get bumped in front of it. I'll go into Advocate at some other stage. But so yeah, we'll just wrap it up. Like yeah, I thought that was kind of fitting for this video to go through that big box stuff. And you know, there was some nice ones in here. There's some surprises, like the size of that bloody thing. Yeah, I really don't know what to do with that one now, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, so like I say, the Commer van was nice. Yeah, that was another nice one, and you know, the Thames van as well. Yeah, that was one I've forgotten about, and you know, a really nice model is that, to be quite fair. And Corsair, that's another one we'll keep to one side. Beaver was a nice model, but you know, I don't think that's going to be for me at this stage. I'm going to be I think pretty much all I'll keep out of this lot, and once I sort through it properly and get through all the rest of the stuff I need to sort through, and eventually make decisions on, you know, I'm obviously going to keep the Mark 10 Jag, keep that little Caravan, because that'll go nice with a small scale build. Keep the Corsair. The more I look at these little horse boxes, yeah, I think they would make a nice little interesting addition to a model car at some point. I might keep, you know, one of those and what have you, but not too sure. I might just think, you know, that's a project I'll never get round to, and I just need to be harsh. I mean, yeah, I mean, like I say, it just makes you question your own mortality, how long you got left and stuff like that. And I've certainly got not long enough to finish what I've still got after I've already sold a lot of stuff. You know, I've just got, with a house move coming up as well, you know, there's just too much to move, like, so. And you know, this has been a huge part of my life as model cars since I was 2-3 years old, watching my dad build them. Got heavily into collecting them as soon as I saw that guy's collection in a magazine when I was 10 years old. You know, that flipped me over to wanting to find old kits, and never left the hobby. There's been hiatuses of building sometimes for years, like you know, I think this is what the channel, if I didn't have this channel, I'd probably just wrap it all up, to be quite fair. But it does keep me, you know, I'll always have an interest in this hobby, like, so as long as I've got the channel, I'll carry on trying to build something as and when, like. And but yeah, it's just getting to the point now where you just think, I just don't have time to you'd love to finish everything you wanted to, but life's too short. So yeah, I think that's where I'm at with it all. But yeah, I mean, like I say, I thought it's kind of fitting video to go through all this stuff. I wouldn't have usually gone through every bit and piece. You know, I probably would have just picked out a couple of bits and eventually done a video on them in time. But you know, as we're doing this, and why not make it a long video? Didn't realise it was going to be as long as this, like. But yeah, I mean, Martin will be sadly missed by everybody. You know, my condolences to his family. You know, and all his other friends, like, you know, who have lost him. But he'll never be forgotten, won't Martin? I certainly won't forget him. And you know, we'll try and get that Jag done at some point. I'm just going to keep that away from everything else at the moment. And if I can find a bit of time to do a bit of work on it in between everything else, then I will do. I won't be packing it away or anything. So, but yeah, I mean, if you stuck around till the end of this video, thanks ever so much. I know it's been a long one. Like I said, there was a lot of stuff in that box I'd forgotten all about and didn't really realise how much was in there. But like I said, there's some nice bits in there, and hopefully you've enjoyed looking at something a little bit different, open your eyes up to stuff which I never knew existed, like you know, there's a lot of 3D printed stuff. You can pretty much get everything 3D printed now, but I think it's, you know, when you say if you wanted to tackle that, you know, that's a different kind of model building, isn't it? You just, you know, you're trying to make something out of the toy. And but yeah, so whatever you're doing for the rest of the week, you know, hope you enjoy yourselves, and I'll try and get another video out at some point. And if I find anything interesting which I have time to film while I'm sorting through stuff, I will do. I've still got all them videos which, you know, I don't know if I'll ever release those things now, but if I do, then I do. If I don't, I don't. I'll put some kind of disclaimers that they're an old video, so to speak. But yeah, we'll just see you in the next video whenever that is. Thanks for watching. See you, bye.